So for the joinery, I have a modified, I don't even know what to call it, but it's kind of like a modified box joint. Basically, it's going to be box joints up here, but instead of going all the way across, it's only going to be a few box joints at the top and a few box joints at the bottom, and then a big gap in the middle. And it should create a pretty cool looking thing. So to lay it out, I'm going to lay out the front and back pieces first. So I'm going to lay out the box joints first. All right. And so my box joints want to be my gaps, or I guess it's almost like dovetails in a way, but they're straight dovetails. So more like box joints, and I want them to be about 1/2 centimeter so the first one wants to be 1/2 centimeter from the top, and then 1/2 centimeter down, so on and so forth too. Okay, so that's that. Then with a square, I'm going to mark them down okay, so you can sort of see what I'm doing here. This will be waist and this will be waist, and I'm going to do the same from the bottom. So we go 1/2 centimeter from the bottom, okay, and this will be waist and this will be waist. Okay, and then so to mark this, since only these pieces will be waist, let me build up a little space here so I can see. I only want to mark right where the waist is going to be, but I definitely want to mark because I'm going to be chopping these out by hand. And then on the inside, it's not so important. I can mark it more like this, straight line, because you won't actually see it. So something like that. And the beauty of this setup is I only have to mark it once, and then since I'm going to do it on the bandsaw, I won't need to, it'll be repetitive across the whole board. Alright, so that's kind of what we're doing. You see that? I'll mark out the other one and then I'll see you at the bandsaw. Okay, so here at the bandsaw, we are going to set up our fence to make a cut, and we're going to use a shim. Now this shim represents the hole that we're going to cut out. Right, so we're going to put our shim up against our wall. I'll put these on. And we are going to take our piece and we're going to put our piece right at our first line and lock our fence down. We're going to make our first cut, and then we'll take the shim out and make our second cut, and then that'll be the shim, that'll be one hole, and then we'll do that on 4 sides. So here we go. Now without the shim. Okay, so we made our first set of cuts. Smart thing to do would be to mark all the waste, just so we don't mess up when we're chopping in a minute. Now to chop these. Basically a lot like dovetails. I'm just going to use a chisel and chop down and clear out that little piece. We get a chisel. And just going to use a hold fast here to hold the work down. Don't need too much pressure, I'm not going anywhere. Alright, I hope you're in frame. And that is that. So you see, that's the finished joint, and the side piece will fit right in there. I'll finish all four and we'll come back to when we do the sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark directly from this piece, and I want to make sure my reference side is flush right here, right? And then I can mark and again I should only have to mark one board. So for some reason my camera died right in the middle of, actually it must have died right at the beginning of me cutting these out in the bandsaw front, and after I laid it out on the sides, I went to the bandsaw and cut to those lines, and you can see how it's going to sort of fit together. I just got to chop it out and clean it all out, and then once I do that, which will be exactly the same as this, so I won't show you again, but I'll come back once I'm done chopping it out. and show you how it's going to fit together. Okay, so I chopped and cleaned up the side. That's what it looks like. And it's the opposite of the front. And this is how it fits. It fits sort of like a dovetail. It's a little tight, but that's a good thing. That is what it'll look like. That'll be the front. So from the front you'll see the two little pins, and then the rest will be clean. And from the side you will see the end grain, which will be kind of cool, and then you'll see the two pins. So it's a box joint essentially, but just more interesting without going all the way across, and it, you know, has that dovetail look without being dovetails. Okay, so I finished cutting out all the joints. Let's see. Okay. Oh, and I mark my parts. I mark them right in the pins and in these areas that you'll never see them because they'll be hidden in the joint. That way I don't have to worry about messing up. Okay, so we got B and B. Goes there. So it goes here. And you want to be careful when doing this. If you cut your joints too tight, when you're putting them together, you know, if these joints are too tight, it could split the wood. So just be careful when you're putting them in like this. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like. I think it's a pretty cool look. The two pins on the front and back. The sides will show this shape. I think it'll look pretty cool. One thing I want to do real quick is check it for square. And I like checking all four sides. Okay, square. That's looking really good. Okay, so here at my router table, which is just a built-in piece into my table saw extension wing, and then on my table saw fence I just added a, like a, I don't know, MDF fence that gives me a nice fence for my table saw. So here I'm going to take off a groove from the bottom, stopped before it goes all the way out so it doesn't show. And it's going to be a plunge cut and a lift cut, so it'll be pretty interesting. Okay, so that's our grooves. Just clean them up. Let me find the right ones. So when you put the joint together, you can't see any cuts from any of these sides, and in here you have a full cut to allow the plywood to fit in there. Let me get a little... So the plywood piece will slide in on both sides and it'll fit like that. And see, it's a little loose right now, but once it has the felt, or sorry, actually for this one, once it has the suede, it'll look pretty cool, I think. There we go, and that's how our box is going to be set. Well, it's time for the glue up of the sides and bottom. And I have the pieces here. I pre-finished the inside of these pieces. I didn't show that because I will be showing that in the finishing stage of the outside. And the other thing I did do is I pre-finished the bottom and I lined it with a red suede. My mom's favorite color, or at least one of the colors I know she likes, is red, so I decided to go with the cool red suede. Oh, it smells amazing. So let's glue this up, huh? I have all my pieces laid out on my table. I have some clamps laid out over here, and let's get started. So I'm going to put the glue on the side pieces. And the beauty of hide glue is that it cleans up really quickly and really easily with just some water. So you don't have to be quite as careful when applying it as you do with PVA glue. So that's kind of why I use it. Well, not kind of, that's why I use it. Basically, it's clamped. I checked it for square. It's about as square as I can get it. And then we just wait. And next we'll be working on the lid.